Okay, hey there. My name is Fernando, and I'm gonna make this video short and sweet because I'm tired of making so many recordings, so many takes, and things going wrong. So, you might be watching this because you came from the playlist that I linked on my portfolio site, or maybe YouTube showed this to you and you have already seen my other videos on the Sunna garden development. Well, this is a continuation of that. Um, so previously, I was working on Sunna Garden. So Sunna.garden. But yeah, recently Arena disabled HTML uploads, so it no longer works in the typical sense. So, but I mean, still available and you can still play with it. But I was basically building this like web builder, where you have like little nodes, and you can like use this as wallpaper. You can drag and drop images. You can see a full demo on like my videos and like the other content that I have. Anyway, you can also read more on the technical details. If you go to my personal wiki. And then if you open up the, what's the command? HTML. Yeah, I documented like how it began. So on Sunna Garden, it basically works as a single HTML file that has everything. It has the JS, the CSS, and you can download it. So if I go back to Sunna Garden, yeah. If I go back to Sunna Garden and then like I like change something, then like I hit download, it's gonna download a copy of that with that change. And the way that it works is that you can inspect this and like you can change this. So font size, whatever, and then like if we save this, and then if I open this, you see it now has this, and it's all local. It's local. It's always local, and it was very fun to build this. And I documented some of that on my devlogs, and I documented that here, like how I arrived to that conclusion. Because previously I was working. Sorry. Because previously I was working with Svelte, and I think there's gonna be a video on YouTube of that version, but I jumped into a lot of trouble. I wasn't happy with that implementation, and that's what happened. And then I stopped recording videos because I started prototyping a new version, which is this Electron based version. And for this Electron-based version, basically I wanted to make this a desktop environment. So it's no longer Sunna Garden. It's a desktop environment prototype. And let's hustle a little and see what a desktop environment is if you're not familiar. So I asked Claude here, what a desktop environment is, and it's essentially the collection of programs of software that your operating system uses to tie everything together for you. So it provides a window manager, which is it's the software. It's a program that's in charge of managing the focus states of your windows, right? It decides based on your input who is gonna receive that input, like which of the windows. Like it manages that state for you, and it also allows you to manage how the contents of those windows are where they are rendered, right? Like if you have an expanded window, if you have a small window, if it's on the right and the left, X, Y position, and then the compositor takes all of that information and then just renders you an image of your desktop background, and everything together basically. And then you have like desktop icons, which is just shortcuts basically, or just like a file manager. It also usually provides a file manager to browse your files. It also usually provides other tools like terminal and like calculators, calendar, etc. And it gives you a very little customization options usually. And the system tray where you can see like the services or the time or different things, you know, that are running. You have your dock, you have different things, right? You can, I mean, things have expanded, right? Like I use this Raycast launcher here to open my software. So this is what a desktop environment is. And I'm building a prototype and I'm using Electron. And I want this desktop environment to be portable. I want to be able to manage my different computing resources and files and media across different devices and servers. And I want to have like a unified place where I can just like essentially manage all my data, manage all my files, my software. I want to be able to quickly build tools, and because this is what this Electron app allows me to do. I'm most familiar with JavaScript, and so you know, each of these little tools here, even the cursor itself, is a module, a very small module. Like the node module here is like 200 lines of code. This one is like 500 lines of code. You know, this one's like 300 lines of code, and you know you can modify those things. Like if I open the terminal here, and if I go into modules, and you know I go into the let's look at the recorder one, right? Recorder.js. Like if you look at it, it's very simple. I'm using this Ocelotti module stuff that I developed in Sunna Garden, but it's not the best thing. It's not good for this project, for this desktop environment. I'm gonna do a refactor, but I'll talk about that later. But yeah, I mean, you can see it's very simple. Like, it's very simple. Sure, it's not perfect, but then I can also just tweak it very easily. Like, I can customize it, and that's what I want. I want to be able to have like my tools be hackable, and very fast to just like iterate on. And I want all these things to be available on different rooms. So you know, as the description of this environment went, it mentioned a like a taskbar panel, the launcher and all that. And you see how like I even added those things. Like I have the time here, and I have my launcher here, which is a command palette. That's also very customizable, and it like you don't have to modify the source code of this module to add things. It provides an API. It provides an API that allows you to register things in here. So if I open my terminal again, I jump into CD modules, and then I think it's called tools. Base tools. Okay, found it. Base tools. That took a while. So here, register command. So you have this function, and you know, just pass the name, the description, the icon, and then the action that you want to run. So reload room, right? And if I run it, it's going to reload the room. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to lose this thing. And you know, rename room. It also, you know, we also have that rename room, and you know, it brings you to this other screen, and then you can see like some preview. And that's also very easy. You know, like you have this function, and then you just return a div. Simple. And this is all done in vanilla JS, except for ban.js, which is very cool. I love it. In case you're not familiar, this is like my favorite tool now. Anyways, and yeah, so this is what I'm building now. and I wanted to make a quick overview video, like an update video on how things are looking on that end. I want to make a big refactor. So if I go to my lab notes, based on a lot of things that I learned, because currently this is set up in a mess. Like this Electron project is awful. It's I mean, it's a prototype, right? It's a prototype, so like that's what you would expect from like experimentation. But yeah, you can see like I have different nodes here, and if I look at my checkpoints, I have like I've been looking at different things. I even have the greenfield thing I mentioned. But yeah, like there's this core modules part here, and these are checkpoints. I don't know if I mentioned them, but those are really helpful to navigate your room. Anyways, yeah, I want to explore things and like how to handle media. I want to add a database. Like I have a lot of ideas on what I want to do for OM or OM. I don't know how to call it yet, but it's OM for sure. Like it's OM. OS feels nice to say, like OS, like DE. No, that sounds terrible. Anyways, yeah. So this is where things at. This is where things are at right now. And I want to upload videos like the ones I uploaded before, where I go through this refactor. I'm currently working on another project called Stoneborn, which is a game engine, and I'm learning a ton from working on that. A lot of things I wanted to do here, I'm doing them there. So it's it's really useful to work on this, because then I can just apply those things here. But yeah, and like this, like even though my current Electron app is a mess, it's useful. I have like a lot of rooms that I use for my daily life. I cannot show them to you because those are personal, and you would learn all my secrets. But yeah, I mean, I use it on a daily basis. I also use it for work, and I can't show you that either, because that's like I shouldn't share those things. But I use it to I use it to keep track of like notes, my GitHub issues, different websites that I want to save. Like instead of having bookmarks, I just leave the website there, and that's it. And I just go there, and like I organize my ideas in different sections. And then something cool is like, for example, I have a terminal, and say like I have a note here that says something like this is how you deploy on staging. And then there's a command, right? Blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, because I always forget like what the commands are, and so I just copy this and paste it, and then I run it. And then if I have a question, I can just then just like ask. And it was failing. Okay, it works now. And so you can just like ask, give me ffmpeg command to convert mod to MP4. Like this is the first thing that came to my mind. And then just copy it, and then you just paste it, and then that's it. Of course, it's not gonna work because there's no such file. But yeah, you can do this, and you can leave this here in case you forget. Like you just leave there. It's like a sticky note that actually sticks. You don't have to like reopen stuff, and then your computer is not a mess, because then if you're like me, I have multiple projects and I'm like switching between them, and having workspaces like this is so useful. And imagine you would have these workspaces, but like you also have a remote server, and so like say you're doing work that requires you to use the server, you can just like jump to a remote room, if that makes sense, and work from there. And if like I wanna be able to show window managers. I actually think I didn't mention this, but I don't remember if I said this because I've recorded this quite a few times. So to be honest, I don't know if I have. I guess I'll know when I edit this. But there's this like HTML5 Wayland compositor, HTML5, which is a great project done by Eric from Belgium, and it's essentially it's using the Wayland protocol to basically tell the different programs running on a computer and to like be able to render those on the browser. So it's the browser is the compositor, and then it's also the window manager. And you can look at your native programs, and so like you can do that remotely as well. You can look at your programs on a server, or locally, or both. So all those things are possible, and I want to explore those things, and I want to make prototypes. So I'm working towards that. I'm working towards making my own OS, whether that takes me my whole lifetime. So yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next devlog.